President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promises to invest in education, transportation, and infrastructure. Securities and Exchange Commission declares as illegal operations of Binance in Nigeria. Plus, it's a big week for markets around the world with interest rate decisions from the three major central banks coming one after another. The program is Business Express on the network service of NTA. We are reaching you from Abuja, and I am Benny Adams, your guide. Good to have you join us. At this time, I want to say Happy Democracy Day. And it's time to keep you up to speed with business happenings around the world. I will start by telling you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has enjoined Nigerians to rededicate themselves to strengthening democracy as a form of government of free people, while urging Nigerians to bear in mind the immediate pain of fuel subsidy removal. He also assured that his administration will invest in education, transportation, and infrastructure.
I assure you that your sacrifice shall not be in vain. The government I lead will repay you through massive investment in transportation, infrastructure, education, regular power supply, healthcare, and other public utilities that will improve the quality of lives.
And from there, the Securities and Exchange Commission has declared the activities of Binance in Nigeria as illegal. According to a circular by the Commission, any Nigerian trading on Binance Nigeria Limited, a subsidiary of the well-known global cryptocurrency exchange Binance, is doing so at his or her own risk. It says Binance Nigeria Limited is neither registered nor regulated by the Commission, and its operations in Nigeria are therefore illegal. The Commission urges Nigerians to be wary of investing in crypto assets and crypto asset-related financial products and services if the service provider or its platform is not registered or regulated by the Commission. It warned Nigerian investors that investing in crypto assets is extremely risky and may result in total loss of their investment. Now, as Nigeria's democracy evolves and as we celebrate today, the insurance industry has also evolved towards the no premium, no cover situation we have today. Crafters of the Insurance Act 2003 saw the need to state it there categorically and prepare the insurance brokers for a new lease of life. Today, there is still a gentleman's agreement that the insurance brokers can hold and premiums paid for 30 days. However, the law also recognizes that the moment you have paid the insurance broker, your insurance company has been paid and you are covered. Democratizing insurance as a concept and practice is evolving quite well, and we have an insurance expert, Ekerete Olagamikon, who joins us virtually to discuss issues in this sector. Mr. Olagamikon, it's good to have you, and happy Democracy Day.
It's good to be here.
Okay, good. Please, can you take us through the involvement of the insurance sector in Nigeria? What strides have been made in the sector, particularly everything they will tell you business usually thrives in a democratic setup. So from the advent of our democracy to now, how has the insurance industry also evolved alongside?
Okay, thank you so much, Benny, for this opportunity. So the insurance industry in Nigeria is over 100 years old. I'm sure you are aware of that. And and it started in Nigeria as an agency of the Royal Exchange Insurance in the UK. And subsequently, we had insurance companies sending back, so to say, Nigerians who qualified with insurance certificates in the UK to come and practice insurance in Nigeria. Well, those Nigerians came back, not sending back. They came back and decided to practice, and most of them started as insurance agents and insurance brokers before we began to have insurance companies. And the first indigenous insurance company started in 1958, before independence. So moving from there, you had a lot going on for insurance. If you have an idea of Marina Lagos, you would see that insurance dominated Marina Lagos. Insurance buildings were evidence of the stride that insurance had done, in the economy. And today we even have banks that got their seed capital from insurance practitioners back in the days, in the 80s, in the 70s, and in the 80s. And so insurance was thriving very well until something went wrong, I would say. The laws, in particular, upon coming in 1997, made it kind of stiffer for insurance to operate the way it was operating. Notwithstanding, you had young professionals who came through in their 30s, Benny, in their 30s, 32, 34, 30. The founder of Cornerstone was in his 30s. It was actually 30 when he founded Cornerstone Insurance PLC, and a number of other insurance companies in that manner. So the industry was doing very well until, again, the laws were not following the development in the industries. And so the domination of the brokers was evident.
Talking about
Yes.
development in the industry from the challenges from inception 100 years ago and the progress it has made over time, we also understand that it has advanced to the point of adopting technology in the way insurance is being run. Can you tell us about InsurTech and what it has done for the industry at this moment?
Okay, absolutely. So to overcome the dominance of the brokers, that no premium, no cover had to come into place, like you mentioned in the introduction. Thereafter, the insurance sector has always been seen as slow to adopt technology, but when it adopted technology, that's what began to strengthen the position of other stakeholders in the industry. So technology is not entirely new to insurance, but what InsurTech is doing is giving the insurance sector the spring that it needed to run, the spring that it needed to dominate, its own space, so to say. So there is still a traditional insurance, but InsurTech has come as what provides the leap. And let me explain. So today in Nigeria, through InsurTech, you have responses like you can buy insurance for when you are moving your car from one place to the other. You don't need to buy insurance for a whole year and then park your car and not use it, and your premium that runs into hundreds of thousands would become something that you'll be looking for payback, And a lot of other InsurTech firms have come up with different, products. There's one that says you can buy insurance for as cheap as 125 naira, in Nigeria today. So those are InsurTech enablers. It has enabled people in the industry. It has enabled policyholders in the industry to know that these things are possible. So today, insurance is not only affordable and accessible, it's always been available via InsurTech.
Good. I was actually to ask how affordable is insurance, but then come to look at it. We have a new government in town. We have a new sheriff in town. What are expectations from players in this industry? We've had issues about difficulties in paying premiums. Do we still have that? What should we do going forward?
Okay. Okay, great. One of the things that we expect the new administration to focus on is how to really get itself at the federal level and at the subnational level to comply with the insurance laws that have been set by the government itself. Group life insurance, for example, is compulsory for every employer of labor to have group life for his employees. And besides the one that is at the federal level, which the federal government pays for, there are only a few other states that are doing group life for their employees. Same thing with motor insurance, insurance of public buildings. These are compulsory insurances that have been put in place by the government itself through the law. So this is not happening. Government needs to do, by example, what the law has said. And when you have a situation where pension boards have been set up in different states, in virtually all the states, and only 7 states have, been able to do pensions, and only maybe 3 or 4 states have been able to pay pension up to date to their employees. So you find out that this has a huge connection with what we are discussing today when we talk about fuel subsidy removal and the impact on people. What do people use their money for? Salary and everything. Healthcare issues. Why can't government decide that, okay, health insurance is compulsory now? Why can't government decide that we'll do health insurance for everybody? At the end of the day, the money that you get, sometimes it goes for medical, sometimes it goes for transportation and all of that. But if government does this, indeed, there will be a lot of relief for families and a lot of the employees. Thanks.
Wow, great ideas coming from you. This is a conversation I think we want to sustain going forward. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us at this particular point in time.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. And moving on, oil prices fell $2 on Monday ahead of a U.S. Federal Reserve meeting as investors tried to gauge the central bank's appetite for further rate hikes, while concerns about China's fuel demand growth and a rising Russian crude supply weighed on the market. Brent crude futures fell $1.91 to $72.88. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $68.15, down $2.02 or 2.8%. Both benchmarks posted their second straight weekly declines last week as disappointing Chinese economic data raised concerns about demand growth in the world's largest crude importer. On that note, let's see how the other commodities are trading on the global market. On the program, we will also be looking at issues arising from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's democracy address to Nigerians, where he promises to respect rule of law and reward Nigerians for their sacrifices on subsidy removal. Our guest in the studio is Aliu Ilyas. Aliu, thank you for joining us at this time.
Thank you for having me.
Great. The president charged Nigerians to jealously guard and protect our democracy. How do you think the economy has fared vis-a-vis our democracy?
Well, you can difficultly separate politics from the economy, and that's why we always have political economy, because what happened in politics transcend and move into what happened in the economy. If you look at today's speech, actually paragraph 17 and 18, he made mention and admits the challenges Nigerians are facing concerning the oil fuel prices, and he also promised a lot that there will be massive investment that will be channeled towards health, transportation, education, and other social infrastructure. I think it's quite motivating to hear that, having looked at the challenges that we are facing currently in Nigeria concerning the fuel subsidy removal. You agree with me that we are not yet feeling it, or the ripple effect is not yet there for now, because it's just some days now. By the time it's trickled down to the markets, the every aspect of the economy, you agree with me that you feel it more. So we expect government, both from federal and the state, to bring a cushion that will really meet up these challenges that we are facing concerning the fuel subsidy. Especially, there should be availability of transport, even though we expect there should be some things on ground before this decision to remove the fuel subsidy. You agree with me that the the president before Bola Ahmed Tinubu have actually provided some things planned to be executed before the removal of the fuel subsidy. But this one come as a shock, because we are expecting it to lapse to the budgetary allocation for fuel subsidy to lapse by
end of June.
Exactly, expecting what happens during the inauguration to happen by July 1st. That was our expectation.
Well, talking about expectations, whether they are met or yet to be met, just like you also mentioned, where the part of the expectations was that some things could have been put on ground before this. But like the president said, it is a necessity that came at the right time. While we're trying to adjust, what would you say government should look out for as not just palliatives, but some sort of interventions to cushion the effect, while we look forward to either the immediate or the long-term promise of the massive investment in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and all the rest?
Right. As an economist, it is a popular decision to remove the fuel subsidy. We all agree that fuel subsidy must go. But the challenge is that what are the things that are supposed to be on ground? So if you ask me, I would like to let you Nigerians know that the first thing that we need, like I said, is the is the availability of transport system. Because if there's enough, you see some states have started saying that people should work for only 3 days, and that is quite counterproductive. You are expected to be a productive economy, and you are saying people should be coming to work 3 days. So I think what government should do that is very, very urgent is that there should be an encouragement to even Dangote that this refinery is coming up. We expect it to start producing by the end of July. But what is much more paramount is for the importation also to be open to different importers, so that at least by so doing, when you have more of it in Nigeria, it may reduce the price of it. And the ultimate thing that will actually reduce the price in the long run is for Nigeria to have its own refinery. We are aware that some are coming up by December, but if we have enough, because if you look at the cost itself, transportation of fuel to Nigeria, it's about 27, it contribute to the 27% increment in the fuel, in the cost of the buying petroleum. Now, if you now remove that, that means from 57 naira to now reduce to about 398 naira or thereabout. So we want there to be enough, and there will be competition, because if there's competition, the price will definitely, just like what we experienced in the telecos, we want to experience that also in the oil and gas industry. That is what we are expecting from the government.
Okay, while we look forward to enjoy such dividends, just like it happened in the telecommunications in this particular sector, looking forward, the president from the first day of assumption in office, from even his inaugural speech, he announced some reforms in the financial sector, and that has also led to the suspension of the central bank governor, talking about Godwin Emefiele. Any impact on the financial market, particularly on the naira? What should we expect? Should the naira be tightened? Should the naira get better? Is it dropping? What is the expectation? Right. If you ask me, I think that's going to be a positive, it's a positive way, and it is in the right direction, because it is a popular decision that the ousted CBN governor should have gone with, because if you look at his policy, there is a lot of policy issues that relate to the monetary policy. And you also agree with me that there's expected to be a synchronization of monetary policy and fiscal policy. But if you look at, if fiscal policy is raising anything,
the monetary policy will be bringing it down. So there should be a kind of marriage between the, if not, if at all, there's an independent for CBN. So I think it is in the right direction. And for me, if you ask me, I think the new person will also bring that energy that we expected. And I think we need an economist at this point in time, because most people that, if you look at people that are coming from the financial sector, they tend to serve those people in that area more. So we need an economist who is going to focus on the challenges of Nigeria, and we must understand and relate the challenge locally so as to provide solution. Because if you look at our foreign exchange, there is a lot of gap there. And if you look at most things that are expensive in Nigeria, you can also trace that to our foreign exchange. And I think by the time we have other Dangote and Co, this foreign exchange will be strengthened, because if you look at our foreign exchange, most of them even go into importation of fuel. So by now, I think Nigeria is in the right direction, and the president is leading and giving us confidence, because if you look at what he has been doing so far, he's showing us that we are in a good hand and good direction. We hope he also sustain that. But economy is not what you give to somebody or someone who cannot really manage it properly. So as we are expecting him to give it to another person, as we are expecting him to bring up a Minister of Finance and other financial people that will manage the financial sector, we want him to bring the best of Nigeria to that area, so that poor Nigerian can easily feel the impact. Because if you look at it, according to the president himself, he made mention that 30 years ago, MKO manifesto is farewell to poverty. Now, going down 30 years now, we are still deep in poverty. Successive governments have bring up different poverty reduction. So I don't know how he also is going to bring poverty reduction. But the better thing is that President Muhammad Buhari has also institutionalized poverty reduction program through Federal Ministry of Humanitarian and Disaster Management. I think if we institutionalize poverty reduction program, going forward, it will reduce our poverty in Nigeria.
Well, the present administration is not going away from that campaign slogan back 30 years, which is talking about farewell to poverty. And we've had a promise of investment, massive investment in infrastructure, healthcare, education, and all of that. As an economist, where do you think government should actually put in more of the efforts in the next 4 years? Maybe to start off with.
Right. I think first thing that President Tinubu needs to do is to create what we call economic activities. Because if there's economic activities, a lot of people will come into business. Now, the first thing is that the MSME, they remain the largest employer of labor in Nigeria. So they need to be strengthened. There should be provision of soft loan for these people to make sure that things move on. Then we must also look at productivity. Because if you look at our MPR is about 18.5%, and 18.5% will not encourage the manufacturer to invest. It will also not be a good thing for foreign direct investment to come into Nigeria. So we need to focus on that and making sure that our interest rates reduce drastically to encourage manufacture. Because if manufacture does not employ people, there will not be employment. The challenge of 37% unemployed youth, we still have to consider. There must be economic activities that will engage people, and consequently, it will now bring production and it will help the economy going forward.
Thank you so very much, Ali Elias, for sharing your thoughts with us at this particular point in time. We really appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Moving on, stock markets across the globe in a spin ahead of interest rate decisions. Nekaoko has a global market report.
Stocks inched higher this Monday as traders prepared for a week packed with interest rate decisions from major central banks. Modest gains in U.S. futures signaled a further advance into bull market territory for the S&P 500 as bets on a Federal Reserve pause after 10 straight rate hikes buoyed contracts for the technology-heavy Nasdaq 100, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average futures rose by 18 points. Initial markets traded mixed as investors return from a strong week and look forward to major central bank meetings scheduled ahead. China's Shenzhen Composite led gains in the region and advanced 0.78%, led by education stocks. The Shanghai Composite, however, ended the day marginally lower at 3,228.83, snapping a three-day winning streak. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index leads 0.07%, and in Japan, the Nikkei 225 rose 0.52% to close at 32,434. After lacking direction during Asian trading, Market sentiment picked up in early European trading as investors waited for U.S. Consumer Price Index data due on Tuesday. The DAX in Germany was up 0.75%. UK's FTSE advanced 0.06%, and the French CAC gained 0.65%. African markets rose slightly in early trading as fighting rages in Sudan's capital after 24-hour truce expires. The benchmark indices in South Africa, Tunisia, and Ghana were marginally positive, while Namibia's overall index advanced 0.42%.
Thank you, Neka. And this is where we end this edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Join us again for another edition of the program tomorrow, being Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. I am Benny Adams saying, have a wonderful day ahead.